Okay, let's get to the. You want to get to this rating system? We're like,
So can I?
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say that, and I said this plenty of times in the comments. I'm gonna see things Mike's way and y'all's way. We can give Nas a 10 for legacy, but stop acting like I'm not making viable points. I have a problem, Mike, and I'm serious. I have a problem with the way people jumped in the comments and ignored the other 14 categories and ignored the fact that he still rated the highest out of everybody who we rated, even with me giving him a 9 for legacy. This is what people talk about outside of his fan base when they talk about his fan base lacking objectivity, clarity, wanting everything about it to be perfect when it's not. The way that you all behaved on this page about me giving him a 9, like some of people literally jumping on here and saying, y'all losing credibility for real. People were cursing at me. People were calling me bozo. Like I got called.
Well, welcome to the club, man.
And no, and all jokes aside, y'all need to start having some more perspective about some things. And all I was offering some perspective from somebody who's been the main person coming on live the past 2 years and supporting him and showing how the media has like intentionally been keeping him down.
Sabotaged him in many ways.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like me and Mike have been the guys explaining the sabotage. That's how a lot of you all got here. So if I'm saying 9, maybe it's because I'm being objective and unbiased, and I need you to kind of get with me too. Like I'm gonna get with you on this one because it's like there are very valid points to be made about why his legacy should be a 10. I have some valid points too. You don't have to call me names, I promise.
Uh, I'm used
Like
to the names, man. Darnell Lee with the super chat, man. What up, Darnell Lee? He said, all the people crying for Eminem, we all know the game has a better body of work, and yet we sat through Fat Joe and Ja Rule's battle. Ugh. Yeah, that's a versus that shouldn't have happened.
yeah, that was unnecessary.
Okay, so the people that we are actually rating today are going to be Big Pun, Big L, Andre 3000, Mos Def, Redman, Busta Rhymes, Eminem, DMX, Cool G Rap, and LL Cool J. You ready? Are
Always.
y'all ready? Do you have my list? Yours was kind of hard for me to read because I had to scroll all the way around.
Sorry. Apologize about that.
No, no, it's all good. We can kind of just do like last time, whatever, where I can kind of just put this one on the screen and you just tell me what you gave certain
Yeah, I see
things.
yours now. Yep.
Okay, cool. LL ended up getting a lot from me, and I didn't even realize it was going to be like that. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's L.
Yeah, man, his catalog is stupid. All right, I'm gonna see if I can make this bigger for people. All right.
Oh, while you're doing that, I'm going to remind people like we're doing this live and we want you all to participate so we can create like final tallies and totals. Like,
Right,
what's
right.
cool about according to hip hop is that Mike has a perspective, I have a perspective, y'all have a perspective. We want the scores to be reflective of all the perspectives, not just Mike and I's. Because,
Yeah,
Mike and
yeah.
I argue each other up and down all the time about different things. So,
Yeah, because we're actually, coming with a cumulative score, based on what you guys think and what we think and the debates and arguments that are made. And I'm gonna be real. I kind of just went through and was like, boom, boom, boom. So a lot of these things could really be changed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's what I did too. I tried to do the like all of these ratings that I did them off instinct. That's why when I was giving Nas the 9 for Legacy, I'm thinking like, well, damn, there was like that whole Biggie and like Tupac like monster like totally overshadowing him while Illmatic came out like in the climate. There was the whole like Jay taking the reins thing. There was like Nostradamus. There was like a 5 year break. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like 9.
well, here we go. Let's go. All right. As it pertains to, let's see, Big Pun lyrics, I gave him an 8.
I don't know how you can do that.
You know why?
I don't know how
Because
you
I
can
thought most of it was delivery for Pun for me. Now I could be wrong. Voice, I gave him an 8.
I got 10 for lyrics. I got 8 for voice as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 10 for delivery.
So do I.
I got 8 for storytelling.
I got 7.
Okay. Catalog of albums, I gave him 6.
So did I.
Collaborations, I gave him 9.
So did I.
Longevity, I gave him 8.
7.
I'm sorry, longevity of records, I gave him 8.
I gave him 7.
Longevity of career, I gave him 6.
I gave him 5.
Okay. Battle tested, I gave him 7.
I thought we were talking competitive rap climate. Remember we
I'm
were
sorry.
that?
All right. Well, competitive rap climate. Shit. I need to change that up then. Okay. But I still say that would be a 7.
I gave him a 9 for that. Why would you say 7? Because I think that's our first real discrepancy, like real discrepancy.
Competitive rap climate. You're right. Let me just.
Because he had Cannabis and
You're
DMX
right.
and Cameron and Jada Kiss and Styles.
Okay. You're right.
On
100%.
the back end of Jay and Nas and Big.
Okay. You're right. Competitive rap climate for him is a 9. Legacy, I gave him a 10.
Legacy, I gave him an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
His legacy is big. You know what? His legacy is not where Big and Pox is.
No.
His legacy is huge. And maybe I realized, like, you know, going up to the BX and seeing the murals. And, like, he was one of the first MCs that I ever saw a mural of, like, live and in person. Like, you know, again, maybe that's just my personal experience going up to New York not long after, you know, his passing and just seeing how big that his legacy was up there. Not to mention, he's the first Puerto Rican in rap to really go to really make a mark, period. Like, Joe was, but he was like the first
No, I get what you're saying.
star.
That's funny because, okay, how about this? Like, we know Biggie's legacy is a 10 off of 2 albums. You're saying the same thing about Pun, though. And I don't consider, like, Capital Punishment, for as great as it is, it's no Ready to Die. And yeah, baby, it's a little bit of a disappointment in all honesty. So definitely, like, not even in the stratosphere of life after death. And so how can his legacy be a 10 when the catalog, with the brevity of the catalog and the fact that those albums that are there don't speak to it? That's why I gave him an 8. I can't go higher than 9.
Okay, I'm fine with 9. Everybody in the chat saying 9.
You meet me with 9? Yeah.
I can meet you at 9. And I see exactly what y'all talking about because, again, if the legacy bar is like Biggie 10 and Pac 10 at legacy.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly gave Andre 3000 a 10 on legacy too, I believe, because he's held super high.
Right, he is. And we're going to talk about, because here's what I had to do too, is I had to do some Andre ratings based on Outkast mostly.
Yeah.
But that also hurt him in some things that I'm going to explain when we get to him, because we're probably going to talk about him the most, unfortunately.
Him or Eminem.
So excited.
Yeah, he's on today too. Okay. So legacy, I'm willing to change that to a 9. Live performance, I gave him an 8.
So did I.
Content, I gave him a 7.
I gave him an 8.
Intangibles, I gave him a 10.
Intangibles, I gave him a 9.
Okay. Hook game, I gave him a 9.
I gave him a 7. What you like about his hook game?
I like this hook game when, like, came up with Nori. That's Nori on the hook. I'm tripping. See, Nori, I did this super fast. Yeah. Okay, I'm wrong on that. I'm cool with the hook game being a 7.
Yeah, I think hook game's a 7. Nothing against him. He just wasn't like the best hook writer in the world.
Yeah. I don't know why. Came to mind, and I'm like, nah, that's Nori. Yeah, all he did was the humming. Okay. Versatility, 9.
Me too.
Okay. All right. So my overall score of Pun is, based on this, and I'm going to have to change it, was like 123, but it probably ends up being somewhere around there.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to make some changes.
We're going to make a lot of changes.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you and I talked about this. We're going to go back through these shows and go through the comments and look at the stuff that the people put down and match all of our stuff up, and that's where we're going to kind of get our scores from. So what the people saying are putting down right now matters.
Yeah, Donnell Lee said Mike needs to be muted for these Pun ratings. You know, I ill-advised with the hook game. I apologize for that.
No, it's not that bad.
It's been a very busy day. Okay, Big L. I gave him an 8 with lyrics.
I gave him a 9.
Okay. Voice, I gave him an 8 as well.
I gave him a 7. I didn't love L's
I
voice.
didn't love L's voice either.
I think his voice hurt him actually.
Delivery, I gave him a 9.
Delivery, I gave him a 9 as well. Can we stop for a second? Because here's what I mean about L's voice right quick.
Mm-hmm.
He came out the same year as Nas' Big did. Those are two of the best rap voices ever and two of the best rap albums ever. So his
Didn't
voice...
he come out 95?
Huh?
I thought Poor and Dangerous was 95 because he came out the same day Old Dirty came out. But I'm sure he had shit bubbling.
But that's what I mean. He's out making the rounds around the time they are.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of the reason why people didn't hear how nice he was as an MC was because his voice had nothing on their two voices specifically.
Sophia S. says, Mike, I'm from the Bronx and I forgive you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, I agree with you on that. And, Funk Flex famously was talking about how the One More Chance sample Big L had first, with that. I think it was the MVP remix or whatnot. So that DeBarge sample L had first and it was actually circulating. Big got it and the rest is history, And I think a lot of that is voice. Okay. And let's see, delivery. I gave him a 9.
Yeah, 9. That's where we were.
Okay, that's where we were. Okay. Storytelling, I gave him a 7.
So did I.
Catalog of albums, I gave him a 6.
So did I.
Collaborations, I gave him a 7.
So did I.
Longevity of records, I gave him a 7.
So did I.
Longevity of career, I gave him a 7, unfortunately.
I gave him a 5, but I think I need to go up on that because I was just thinking about how early he was on.
Yeah. Now, as far as like MC competitive climate, I think that's still an 8.
I gave him a 10.
Okay.
I mean, because like I said, he had to make the rounds with Biggie and Nas and Wu-Tang and all those guys. It doesn't get too much more competitive than that. I think that's one of the reasons why people forget about him. It's like, no, this is the dude that you first hear Murder Mace because of this guy. You first hear Killer Cam because of this guy. You first hear Jay-Z because of this guy. He's making the rounds. He's in a heavy competitive
It's a very competitive climate. Okay. And not to mention, shout out to Faith Newman. She signed him to Columbia right after she signed Nas to Columbia. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of competition going on. Legacy, I gave him a 10.
Oh, did you? I gave him a 7. Explain. Because I don't think anybody really talks about L.
I think people talk about L a lot. And I think that he's one of the guys who we've kept his name alive, because, partly because of his untimely demise and the potential that he was about to show. I think his legacy might be one of the strongest parts of, what he was able to do. I think people are very understanding because we saw him trade bars with Jay-Z in his prime.
No, he's a better rapper than Jay-Z at that point when they're rapping next to each other. That's why.
And a lot of people say that. And I'm seeing people in the chat saying Legacy 10.
Legacy 10, really? So cool.
Do y'all think the Legacy is 10? Because I might be.
That's what I'm saying.
No, people are saying ain't no way. Okay, let me ask the people real quick, and I'm gonna let you finish. What do y'all think his legacy is? Because Coop has a 7 and I have 10.
No, and I'm okay with coming up off the 7. I didn't aware that people was in love with L like that. That's my objective. Like me personally, I would probably give him an 8 or a 9. But when I'm saying 10 legacy, I mean legacy to me is one of those like super important things. It's how you are remembered, and so like your legacy and the evidence to it like kind of needs to be there for it to be a 10. Like the feeling and the work gotta be there. That's why it's like Rakim. Oh, that's an easy 10.
Okay. And by that barometer, I'm okay with giving him an 8. But the fact that Big L's name has lingered on, and he only put out one album during his life, and that was in '95, I think that says a lot about his legacy.
Right. I can give him the same legacy as Pun. Like, I'm cool with the 9, but I'm not cool with the 10 because that's putting him where Rakim is.
Well, see, with the 9, it's putting him where Nas is, right? So I'm cool with the 8.
No, so that was the thing. I came up off of that based on what y'all were saying and saying, no, no, no. Well, we'll go ahead and put them right there, but understand how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at like how people looked at you in your prime, what the catalog of work looks like, and the memory of it. That's why when I was giving Nas a 9, I brought up that Pusha T line because it's like, well, that matters to your legacy when other great rappers are making those types of comments about where your career is.
What did you give Pun as an overall score? Because I want to go on your overall score. I think you're a little bit more on point than you're closer to what the people are saying than what I've been on some of these scores.
Hold on, what are we giving L for the legacy, right quick? While I tell
I think we're gonna go with 8. I think 8 is what the people are kind of going with.
Okay, Pun, I got 10, 18, 28.
Oh, I thought you already had it added up. Don't worry about it. We can do that.
No. I can do it. You know, it's pretty quick. You can go to the next one though.
All right. So, legacy 8, right? We'll do that. Live performance, I had 7. Nothing really stood out.
Same here.
Content, I went 7. Now I might need to put that up higher.
No, I put content at a 7 too.
Intangibles, I gave him a 9 because we saw that in the freestyle.
Intangibles, I gave him a 7. Why you say 9? My pun score is 111.
Okay. Intangibles, giving him a 9. I mean, like I said, just that aura of him going out there freestyling. You know what? And that's another thing too. I had a friend, she was from Harlem, and she grew up watching L go on the block and freestyling, and people would be around. Like that aura and that street legend that he created for himself before getting on wax. Honestly, most of his aura is based on those things and not him on wax. You know what I mean? He's one of those people whose skill set has been showcased more off record than on record.
Hold on, Mike. I'm sorry to cut you short. Totally wrong. I miscounted one. Pun's got a 121.
Okay, I thought that was low. Okay.
Yeah, me too. I was like, something about that not right. Let me count again. 121.
But yeah, intangibles. Like I said, I hear these stories of Big L getting on the block in Harlem and spitting these rhymes, and people for miles around circling around him in these ciphers. And most of the stuff with Big L that we hear, the legend of him, is off wax, which makes things very interesting when it comes to him, because a lot of the times we look at things that were on wax. So
you know what's crazy is I remember when Ebonics dropped on vinyl, and that was big, and you felt like his moment was about to come. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. He was in talks to sign with Rockefeller when he died. Him and Jay were having discussions about him signing to Rockefeller. That was like live. That was like a real threat. And so imagine like a Rockefeller lineup that would have had him and Beanie Siegel at the top of it with Jay.
That would have been nice.
That's three the hard way.
For real. But yes, someone in the chat said
I can go with you 9 on that. I can see all that. No, I'm with that.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And after that, we got Hook Game. I gave him a 7 at that.
Me too.
Versatility, I gave him an 8.
So did I.
Okay.